Have you ever noticed how your teenager's mind seems completely full whenever you try to tell them something important? Today, we're going to explain the science of why your teen finds it so hard to listen to you and what you can do about it. Because the real reason they're not listening isn't what you think. Your teenager's brain is like a cluttered computer desktop with hundreds of random files scattered everywhere. Meanwhile, the adult brain is like a neatly organized desktop with tidy folders. Here's the problem. As parents, we keep trying to add new files to our teens' already overloaded desktop. No wonder they can't process our advice. They're having trouble just locating the files that are already stored in there. Stop trying to add more files. First, you need to help them create some folders. So that's the first reason why it's hard for teenagers to process new information. Their brain is disorganized compared to an adult brain. Now, the second reason why your teen might have a hard time listening to you has to do with how their brain categorizes new information. Imagine being served a five-star Michelin-worthy meal on a paper plate. Sure, the cuisine might be exceptional, but the presentation screams nothing special here. Your teenager's brain operates on this same principle. When we dish out transformational wisdom during casual chats or heated arguments, their brain categorizes it as trivial. Yes, the substance of your message matters, but how you present it makes a huge difference in how your teen hears it. Okay, so far we've covered how mental clutter and the wrong presentation can make your teenager have a difficult time listening to what you're saying. But there's a third aspect of the teenage brain that also contributes to this phenomenon. Imagine trying to file important papers while someone is literally rearranging the room, moving the file cabinet from one wall to another. Sounds frustrating, right? Well, that's exactly what's going on inside the teenage brain. Their entire mental filing system is undergoing a massive reorganization during adolescence. So when you say, "We've talked about this before," and they act like they don't know what you're talking about, they might not necessarily be lying. The truth is, the filing cabinet where they originally stored that information might have been moved or even completely thrown out during the renovation process. So, to recap, we've covered three reasons why teens often seem to ignore our advice: mental clutter, bad presentation, and the continual reorganizing of the teenage brain. Now that we understand these hidden obstacles, let's look at what we can do about them. The first strategy is all about changing our approach. Stop trying to jackhammer new beliefs into the bedrock of your teenager's mind. Instead, become a cognitive archaeologist. Take the time to carefully excavate and uncover what they might believe right now. Instead of immediately telling them what conclusions to draw, try asking gentle questions like, "What are your thoughts on that?" You might just discover that beneath their seeming resistance lies an entire hidden city of beliefs and fears and aspirations you never knew existed. Just like an archaeologist carefully brushes away dirt to reveal hidden treasures, your genuine curiosity and patience can unearth the truth of what your teen really feels and believes. Adopting the mindset of a cognitive archaeologist can be a game changer, but there's another technique that can transform your communication with your teen. Ever tried to give a cat a bath when they're in no mood for it? The harder you try to force that squirming little feline into the water, the harder they resist. But if you focus on creating the right environment and allowing them to approach the bath on their own terms, everything changes. Your teen's brain works in exactly the same way. Instead of forcing conversations about grades and chores and future plans when they're not receptive for it, focus on creating an environment where they feel empowered to bring up these topics on their own. Stop pushing and start attracting. So we've looked at two powerful approaches for getting our teens to open up: becoming a cognitive archaeologist to uncover their hidden beliefs, and using the cat bath principle to attract them to important conversations. Our final strategy is all about how we guide their growth over time. Here's why forcibly trying to make teenagers see things your way often backfires. Imagine a misguided yoga instructor trying to force a new student into an advanced pretzel pose on their first day of class. Does that seem like it's going to go well? This student is going to end up frustrated and probably injured, right? Instead, skilled instructors guide their students to gradually improve their strength and flexibility over time. Your teenager's brain works in exactly the same way. Stop trying to force them into new ways of thinking overnight. Instead, guide them to stretch their perspective little by little. Ask thought-provoking questions like, what if we looked at this from a different angle? Or have you ever considered? Let them feel that satisfying burn of their mental muscles expanding naturally. We've covered a wealth of insights and strategies, from understanding the unique challenges of the teenage brain to becoming a cognitive archaeologist using the cat bath principle and being a mental yoga instructor. Now, I want to leave you with one final insight. Your teenager's brain is like a vineyard. You can't force young grapes to turn into fine wine faster by squeezing them harder. Fermentation takes time and patience. Every time you share a nugget of wisdom with your teen, you're planting a seed. Some of those seeds will sprout immediately. Others might take months or even years to take root. But here's the amazing thing. One day, you'll overhear your teen saying the exact same thing you've been repeating to them to their friend as if they came up with it themselves. That's not them stealing your hard-earned wisdom. That's the beautiful fruit of all your patience and trust finally ripe for the tasting. We have covered a lot of ground today, from the cluttered desktop of the teenage brain to becoming a cognitive archaeologist to using the cat bath principle and acting like a mental yoga instructor. When your teen seems utterly resistant to your message, remember, their brain isn't broken or defective. It's in the middle of the biggest upgrade of their lifetime. Your role isn't to force more information past their defenses. It's to cultivate an environment where they can feel safe to explore and experiment and grow. Let me know in the comments which of these approaches resonates with you and which you're most excited to try first. If this video resonated with you, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and tune in to the Talking to Teens podcast every week. I'll see you there.